Scott.
Yes, sir.
Hands wrong.
Thank
Horace Smith. Raven Soar. Dean Robinson. Matt Klein. Morris. Have a seat. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us why you want to be a judge.
Well, short answer, I believe that it's just another level of service that I want to achieve. I'm already serving in the capacity of assistant public defender. And you deal with people from all walks of life, you're dealing with people with all kinds of issues. And the main goal is to try to do your best for them. And I see as a judge, it's just another stepping stone to do the same thing from a different perspective. And that's how I feel about it. That's why.
Why do you think you'd be a good judge?
Well, one, because I believe the judge has to be patient. They have to be fair. And also discerning. You have to be able to decide, what is good and what is bad, what is the right thing to do. And in my experience as an attorney, you have to deal with that complexities. You have to deal with people coming in with all types of issues. And basically, you have people coming in who have good people who have had a bad day. And your job is to try to make it as easy as possible, as comfortable as possible, but try to do the right thing. As a judge, your whole duty is to make sure that the people who come with a bad day are treated fairly. And that, of course, that's an eye of the beholder, because what's fair to me may not be fair to them. But your whole job is to make sure that all sides have a fair chance, an equal chance to get their point across, and you do the right thing. So I feel that that's the reason why I know that I will be a very good judge, and one day a great judge, because I know what it takes to foster fairness. You look for the best, you try to do the best for the person, and when it's all said and done, you can walk out and say, you know what, these people come at a bad day, but I want to walk out this courtroom knowing they had a chance to be heard. They had a chance to be heard by me, and even if it doesn't fall the way they want to, at least they can walk out with the attitude feeling that they were treated fairly. Because that's what we do as public defenders. We try to make sure that everyone's treated fairly, and we emphasize that. I think that's why I know this here.
Even start understanding that this seat may be assigned to a civil docket, a family law docket, or a criminal docket. Because I know your experience has been with the public defender's office. What approach would you take, and what steps have you already taken maybe to become more versed in civil or family law?
Well, I have some background in civil law because when I first started, I interned with attorneys that dealt with dependency, that dealt with civil rights issues. And I know that's sort of a little different from here because you're dealing with federal. But I have some background on that. Now, as for taking steps to immerse myself into the family law and civil arena, unfortunately, I have not done that. But I believe that I can learn and I can understand, because many of the judges that are put into a position of family law, they have to learn it themselves, and they have people that they can speak to consult with as well. So even though my background is mainly criminal, I believe I could still learn and excel and be able to do the job in a civil proceeding and a family law proceeding.
Well, and of course, Regina, I go way back, she's a friend, but I would ask on 53, and I'm drawing on some of that experience to ask you this question. On question 53, it says, give other information to your helpful permission. There's really only one sentence there. And I'd encourage you, when you talk about native of Daytona Beach, one of the things you did was, are you a black belt? And some of your community upbringing, involvement in Daytona Beach and Volusia County area. Could you expand on that since you did it here on the 53?
Thank you. I do have a black belt in Taekwondo, and it was earned, not given. you have to basically spar your instructor to get your belt. And so every belt that we received, we had to spar. We went through a formal testing, and then we had to spar him to get the belt. Now, as a black belt, we had a week-long testing where they tested us on our knowledge of the Korean art, the history of Taekwondo, the words, Korean words that we use during the sparring or during our katas or forms. And then ultimately we have the formal testing that we did where we were asked as a group, it was 5 young people and it was 2 adults. And at that time I was 16 years old. And I studied for about 4.5 years. And that was taxing as because it was like we didn't know what to expect. And so we had to master a weapon, and my weapon was the side. And then, of course, we had to break boards. You have to show your power and agility. And so at the 4 boards, so you had to pick any technique that you want, and then you were able to, then you break the boards. And then, of course, at the end, you still had to fight the instructor. So that in itself was a training ground, never realizing that what I was learning in Taekwondo was getting me ready for the courtroom. Because you come in, you have your opponent, you have your referees, and you have a level of respect you have for your opponent, although it has to be a winner, but you have to make sure that you do within the rules. And so now, as an attorney, I'm in the courtroom with my opponent, and the judge is the referee. And so I didn't really see it then. Community-wise, I'm involved with my youth at my church, youth minister. Matter of fact, last week we went to the detention center, juvenile detention center, and did a ministry there for the young people there, to the young girls. We did minister to them. Brought pizza and drinks and sat down and talked with them, showed them a video, and sat and talked with them. And then I also encouraged them to speak to our young people and to explain to them what is it that they need to know about not coming here. And the young ladies were very candid, they were open, and we also encouraged them that, you know, this is a bump in the road, and in this bump, learn from it and not come back, so to encourage them not to come back to this place. I also deal with, I have our young people go out and we minister in the streets. We've done prayer requests, going door to door. That's what I do because I feel like young people need to be encouraged that this is not about you. Because our generation is me, 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 me. It's not about others. And we want to teach them that it's not about you. You need to learn how to sacrifice, how to put yourself last. Because the greatest servant and the greatest person is the person who serves others. And you have to be humble. And being involved with the Maryland Cloud Community Center when it was in, at the time, Pine Haven, I was involved as a summer camp counselor. I was involved as a teacher's aide and also a mentor. And even with our young people in our church, they come from different places. I want to have to shuttle other people's children to church because their parents don't bring them. And that's my opportunity to be like a big sister to them, their auntie, you know. And so, I don't know, it's just it's an attraction, it's a gift. It's something I don't even think about. I just do because it just seems right to me.
Regina, if you could explain the 3 awards that you listed, the Capture the Flag Award.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to know that too.
Very, very public. Okay. The Capture the Flag Award, at the time, we were, our office was in a position where we had a awards banquet. And each division or each section, because we have the land division, we have Flagler, we had St. John's, and we had Lucia. And what happened is that every division chief would nominate someone based on their trial proficiency. Whether they won a trial, whether they had many trials, and they had very good results. And so that year, I had a trial. I can't even remember, but it was a trial that was, I think it was Stephen Ortiz because he was the prosecutor on that one. But that trial involved the aggravated battery, and It was bad. My client was accused of stabbing a young man in a situation, but nevertheless, that, and then of course we had other cases too that were resolved favorably. And so that I received for my division in flagrant, capture flagrant work. I think there's another one that don't tread on me.
In that case.
And the jury, well, here's the funny part. After the closing argument on that case, the judge told me, and I forgot what judge it was, the judge came to me, I don't know it was Watson, but he came to me and looked at me, he said, Ms. Nunnally, I said, yes, sir. He was like, you did a good job. I said, thank you, you closed it. And then he said, well, because it was left up to me, I was found guilty. I'm like, thank you, sir. Walked on out. You never know. You never know. The tread on me, in our office, if you are successful in a motion hearing, like for instance, motion to suppress or a motion to dismiss, or even if you go to trial and it doesn't result in a not guilty, but it also results in you, a favorable result for your client, like maybe the charge was dropped or the charge was reduced or some type of resolution that was favorable for the client, then they would send what they call a kudogram out to everyone, and in your own particular office, the flag, they'll give you the don't tread on me flag for something, for achieving something for your client, a favorable result for your client. And I'm not sure what the other was, a tread on me. Gunslinger, okay. That was an award that was given out during the time where we were having our awards banquet, and that also dealt with the fact that there was a certain case or cases that you might have represented individuals upon, and you had a favorable result. And I think that particular case, I had a motion to suppress where the officer stopped my client because he said that it was rainy and misty, and it was dusk. And so I'm like, okay. So I went online and looked up the almanac to see exactly what time was it dusk. And I realized that dusk was 3 minutes before she was pulled over, 3 minutes before she was pulled over. And so I'm like, okay, so, you know, and so we went, and then of course they had the video, and then the video showed that it looked like it had been raining, but it looked like it dried up a little bit, and I pointed that out to the judge. I said, Your Honor, they saying this is the reason why they stopped her. We find out that dust didn't have, she was within reason not to have her lights on. And then of course you see on the video, you don't see raindrops on the windshield, you see drizzles. You don't see raindrops on the hood, you see it dry, which suggests it didn't rain. It was dry. And so they suppressed it, and I wound up getting the gunslinger.
Regina, I have one question, and I'm not an attorney. I see your last trial was 2011 on your trial list.
Actually, it should.
7A.
It does.
The last 6 cases we tried to verdict in case 11-199.
Oh, it actually went to trial. It's when sometimes you have cases that last for a whole year.
Okay.
All right, so it happened probably in 11, but after the last trial I had was, well, actually it was, no, it wasn't Celico. I've had something, I'm sorry. The last trial I had was actually 2013. I had 2. I've had 2. So sometimes the case number, you can't really go by the case number. It doesn't really reflect when it happened. It's when the trial actually occurred. So my last case trial was in May. I had one in March and I had one in May. But the incident thing happened back in 2011.
You graduated from law school in 2001 and were admitted to the bar in 2003. What did you do during that 2-year period?
But during that 2-year period, I was working as a law clerk with an attorney, and that's the attorney I was speaking about. He dealt with a lot of dependency actions, and so I was clerking with him while studying for the bar that time. Because what happens is that my school at the time, Barry University, was going through the accreditation process, and it was a long process. And when I finished actually my class in December 2001, and then the graduation was held in June of 2002. We received our accreditation February of 2002. So I actually walked in June, or May or June. And of course, during that time, I was working and studying for the bar. And I studied for the bar. I passed the Florida bar, but did not pass the multi-state. And so, of course, I had to get prepared for the bar again. And I just studied the multi-state. And many people telling me, Regina, you need to study both. I said, no, I'm concentrating on the multi-state, and I passed it convincingly. And that was the gavel time. And then I was sworn in. And then I handled the pendency case on my own for a little bit, and then went to the public defender's office in 2003.
Anyone else? Regina, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank
We
you very
will
much.
be making our decision by the end of the day. I'm letting people know immediately, so you'll be hearing from us shortly.
All right, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.